Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here. Whew! That nap went a little longer than I intended, so let's go ahead and get what we can done today. Okay. Okay, so we need to decide how I'm going to do this layer, how we're going to do these layer mechanics. Wearing armor is a piecemeal process in which you choose which individual pieces of armor you wear, and you are limited by your proficiency. Each individual piece of armor has a passive and an active effect that and an alternative and a withstand action. Each individual piece of armor has a cost to movement speed. Each individual piece of armor has parameters and movement rating costs to consider as well. So, go back and let me double check some stuff. It's heavy, medium, light, okay. Efficiencies with armor denote what level of layer the character, can wear. They do not grant proficiencies with specific pieces of armor. Augments gained from class features allow the character to use the withstand action alternate effect of piece of armor in question. I'm interested to see how sub-attributes interact with armor, like stamina and vigor. Well, the number one way that's going to act is that each piece of armor, probably above light, will have or maybe even some light, haven't decided yet, will have a movement rating cost, which is alleviated by vigor and stamina, because vigor reduces the reduction in stamina, just gives you more movement rating at base. So that's going to be like the starting idea. Name, MRR, passive, and we'll go with withstand, action. How do I want to do AC? Do I want to do AC on each piece, or do I want to do AC based off just the layers that you have? So like light armor's 13, medium armor's 15, and heavy armor's 18 or something. I should do it individually. That way I can power balance +1 to AC. But then again, is that too much number crunch? Does that go against small numbers, big decisions? I don't know. Because these are choices that you're not going to make a lot of changes on often. That's a hard decision. $13, $15, $18. What if I made what if I made sub attributes the decider of your base AC bonus instead of just dex? Does that mean light armor isn't competitive though? Because let's say I made grace for light armor, and for medium armor it was like authority and presence and stuff, and then in heavy armor it was like vigor or tenacity or something. If the heavier armor gives you more AC base, and then you also get to add a sub attribute on top of that with no reduction, then it's like, doesn't that just outclass the other ones in base AC? A conundrum. Because if I did 12, 14, 16, let's say you had a +3 and a sub attribute of whichever one is applicable. So that's 15. That's 17 and 19. I suppose the balancing factor would be what I put on the passives and withstands. That's true. I could do it that way. Give a lot of cool ways to interact with that. And also, they would have a lot of movement reduction, so they'd also need vigor. Okay, I'm gonna go with what my instinct says, and I'm gonna use the sub-attributes. Now, that being said, what should that be? What should they be for light armor? Stamina. No, actually not stamina. No, because stamina already does a lot. Maybe grace? And competence? Maybe prowess? Prowess, competence, grace? That would make the attack stat be defensive, which would work for barbarians, I think. Yeah, let's do prowess, competence, and grace. Because who's gonna wear light armor? So, a barbarian, which strength and dex on a barbarian, not a bad idea. Yes, they would also have con, but if I make it vigor, that's... is that too strong, though? Well, no, there's also light armor dual-wield fighters, too. Barbarians will have it, and if they want AC, they can just get dex. Then you've got competence, you've got intelligence-based, like, officers and stuff, wearing comfortable officer suits and stuff, like, not heavy armor, but, like, you know, the suits, the officers dress with the what are those things called? The poofy shoulders, with the braids on them, the parallel, it's something in French. And then you have, grace for like duelists and shit like that uses charisma. I think that's the right choice. I think that's the right choice. Okay, so yeah. Epaulette, yeah, epaulette. There it is. I knew it was French. So we'll make this AC 14. Character gains a bonus a character with this proficiency may choose 2 pieces of light armor to make their armor set. This one, what should we do for... Alright, who's gonna wear medium armor? Probably pseudo-casters, so, like clerics, authority should be one of them. Authority... Cunning. Resilience? Yeah, it'd be like a bard, maybe? Yeah, okay, so, yeah, we'll do that. Authority, cunning, and resilience. should it be 1 medium and 3 light? And then heavy would be 1 heavy, 2 medium, and 3 light. So each one above would just add 1 more to the bottom. And 1 of itself. Except for light armor, which starts at 2. Yeah, let's go with that for the testing. See how people feel about that. This proficiency replaces the bonuses of light. Actually, that kind of goes against my instincts. I don't know why. I feel like that'll be boring. Will it be boring? No. No, I think it'll be fine. Why? I just see medium armor is always the hardest to find a niche for because it's like heavy armor is pretty clear, light armor is pretty clear. But hold on, I have a phone call. Alright, I'm back. Ooh, okay, anyway. I just feel like medium armor is like, if you chose medium armor proficiency, you get 1 piece of medium armor and then you get like 3 light, right? I'm just worried if that's enough. Like, that's interesting enough. I think it should be fine, actually. I will see how it looks in testing and see if people think the armor choices are boring, and if they are, I'll just tweak it. Before we go, though, I need to find some more background music. I need some jams. I need to fucking lose it. I shall listen to this. I'll listen to some shanty metal. Hey, I'm new here. Could you tell me about you and your channel? Sure. I'm a professional dungeon master and have been for like 15 years. Right now, I'm building my own tabletop system called Prism, in which I have a Kickstarter active for. My channel's not very prominent now, but it used to be fairly prominent. About 4 or 5 years ago, where I ran D&D for a lot of streamers you've probably heard of. So, and now I just I run D&D. Last 2 years I ran 13 games a week to give you an idea of how much D&D. I'm taking a break from raw game running in order to make this tabletop system. I always wanted to get into D&D, but always life came into when I tried learning it. Can you please explain to me what the game is like? Learning D&D was always on my bucket list. So the easiest way that I have to explain what D&D is to somebody who has no idea what it is essentially, if you've ever seen Lord of the Rings or any fantasy movie ever in that same vein, the main characters, like Frodo, Gandalf, and Sam, are the players. The DM, which would be my role, is everything else. So that's the things that they, the land they walk on, the people they talk to, the conflict, the enemies, all of it. And the dice decide whether or not their journey is successful. That's the easiest way to explain it. My interpretation of D&D at this point, that you have a world setting and people make up shit on the way while playing binded by the already set rules, and action outcomes are decided by the dice. Yeah, that's, at its basest form, that's what it is. And if you distill it down even further, it's just an excuse for a bunch of people to hang out together. So. Alright, what am I gonna make this? Can you suggest online spaces for me to play D&D? Only thing you can keep in mind is that I'm 20 years old, so I'm not comfortable playing too much D&D with kids. Oh, well, most of the places I would send you to don't really have a lot of kids that play D&D. There's plenty of online spaces, though. Like, there's... The best thing for you to do is to join a Discord, like an open one, that has, like, recruitment games and stuff like that. One place... There's my Discord. Although right now I'm not running any official games. There are a few people that are playing games there and like running their own games. I have like a public search channel, so I'd suggest that one if you type in. I'm sure a model throw a Discord link in YouTube. There's also a friend of mine runs a very good like open multiple. A very good open place to play D&D easily with people across time zones. It's a little bit more loose and it's a little bit more open. And his server's called the Starry Shore. So I'd suggest that place as well. Like I said, my server does have spaces for it, but you're more likely to get a game at the Starry Shore, at least until I start the official games again. Here, I'll here's the one for me. And it's called The Starry Shore. I don't have an invite link, but I'm pretty sure you can find it. I think he's open to the public, so if you can't find it, let me know. I'll ask him to send me a link. No problem, champ. I'm just glad you're here. Like, I don't want to do Vigor, because I think that's too much stat power in this area, but... I could do Presence. I could do Presence. Oh no, excuse me. Yeah, Presence. Presence, Tenacity, and Willpower. So that would help, like... Presence is like Knights, Strength and Charisma, or Paladins. You've got... Willpower would help specialized Holy Warriors, maybe like a defensive-based Paladin-esque character. And then you have Tenacity for you know, like for characters that have a combination of, like, they want to focus more on their inside and use maneuvers. They can still do that and wear heavy armor, I think. Tenacity, Willpower, and Presence. Should I do Sovereignty? Tenacity and Willpower. For your channel, it's showing unable to accept invite. It is? Huh. I might have to update that Discord link then. Here, I'll make a link for you. Try that. Let me know if that one worked. Still not working for you? Sorry, man. I don't know why it's not working. That's a fresh link. I guess you could try to look it up on Discord. It's Verum. Oh, it might be a verification thing with Discord. Yeah. That's a good point, Mito. Alright, okay, back to what I was doing. Tenet of Punishment for Inquisitor as a reminder. Yeah, they get heavy armor. I'm okay if they stack double willpower. Like, Vigor is too easy to do it. Willpower stacking only being available to one core class, not a big deal. Like, that's fine. Because a lot of the withstand abilities are going to use Vigor, so just being able to wear it is not going to be the same thing as effectively using it anyway. But you could build for it if you wanted. Whoops. Split Mail gives you a Discord link. Fucking pog. Language! Is the vigor requirement represented in the reduction to MRR and wearing the armor? Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. So instead of making it a hard parameter, I'm just going to make it where it's really miserable to wear armor that you don't have the vigor for. But I also wanted it to be offsettable by stamina. So, you know, like maybe you did like a weird... Like, let's say you're a vagabond, right? And you're like super spread stat-wise, and you have stamina and vigor. Then they'll both work together to help you in that regard, right? Because stamina is still con based on both of them. So you have dex and you have strength because you're doing like some, like maybe you were trying to go for prowess. Like you wanted to just build all three together, like to 14s or whatever. Or whatever build you're going for specifically. But obviously, if you try to wear armor that you do not have sufficient vigor to reduce, you could just lose all your movement rating, you know? Or at the very least be more vulnerable to being staggered and so on and so forth. We got a long way to go. Okay, now that I have all these pieces figured out, let's start hammering some effects. Okay. I think that might actually be difficult because it's a stackable one, so making to where I can hard increase might not be a good idea. Be right back, guys.
The city awakes to the bells of Notre Dame. The fisherman fishes, the bakerman bakes to the bells of Notre Dame. To the big bells as loud as the thunder, to the little bells soft as a swan. And some say the soul of the city is the toll of the bells. The bells of Notre Dame. Shh, listen, and Clopin will tell you. It is a tale of a man and a monster.
Dark was the night when our tale was begun on the docks near Notre Dame.
Shut up,
When we spotted 4 frightened gypsies slid silently under the docks near Notre Dame.
but a trap had been laid for the gypsies, and they gazed up in fear and alarm at a figure whose clutches were iron as much as the bells. The bells of Notre Dame. Judge Claude Frollo longed to purge the world of vice and sin. And he saw corruption everywhere except within. These gypsy vermin to the palace of justice.
You there! What are you hiding?
Stolen goods, no doubt. Take them from her. She ran. Cried the Archdeacon.
Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry, I just had a lot to do. Sorry I was gone for so long. Okay, back to what I was doing. Alright. Let me turn all my shit back on. Alright. Let's get some shit done.
Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day, to seek the pale enchanted gold. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. For ancient king and elvish lord, there many a gleaming golden horde they shaped and wrought, and light they caught, to hide in gems on hilt of sword, on silver necklaces they strung, the flowering stars on crowns they hung, the dragonfly in twisted wine, they flashed the light of moon and sun. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day.
That feels too strong. Is it too strong? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Forgotten gold, goblets they carve, there for themselves, and harps of gold, where no man delves, there lay they long, and many a song was sung
Supple leather.
Far over the misty mountains gray, to dungeons deep and caverns dim, we must away ere break of day. Our hearts and gold from him. Mountains cold, and like a tide it roared and rolled. The branches groaned, the forest moaned, and leaves were laid upon the mold. The wind went on from west to east, all movement in the forest seas, but shrill and harsh across the marsh, its whistling voices were released. The grasses hissed, their tassels bent, the reeds were rattling on its wings, or shaken cool under heaven's cool, where racing clouds were torn and rent. It passed the lonely mountain bed and swept above the dragon's head.
Ooh, I forgot. Action point cost.
Lay boulders
Withstand
and flying
actions with
was in the air.
with light armor. Costs
And took its flight
with light armor
over the
and APC.
wide seas of the night. The moon set sail upon the gale, and stars were fanned to leaping light under the mountain, dark and tall. The King has come unto his hall. His foe is dead, the worm of dread, and ever so his foe shall fall.
We're starting to cook right now, chat room. Like, I'm starting to feel it, Mr. Krabs. Being able to combat roll, being able to use effects to interfere, and slamming and jamming. No, we're getting somewhere. Okay. Things are looking up. I'm actually really liking this. So studded leather is going to be your kind of like... Okay, so passive... Maybe like... forward momentum. The character uses their vigor. The character uses their prowess instead of their vigor for withstand actions. Is that good? I do like having different interactions. That puts supple leather and studded leather into a competitive slot, though. But is that bad? I don't think so. I could change the prowess from flexible defense to something else. Nah, I think I could do something better than that. Let's do... How about the character has resistance to weapon attacks. should do. I want to reward like charging in with studded leather. That's like my objective. But how to make that in the syntax that makes sense with everything? That's the struggle. Combat roll gives a source of movement, forward momentum, charging. How do I want to do that? See, I made charge a class feature. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. How can I do universal interaction? Let's see. This also has a movement rating reduction of 1, so man, this is hard. Character, so charging. I don't want to do a floating +1. It goes against what I'm trying to do. Hold on. The brain is cooking. Ooh. Hold on. I think I have something. What if I made it to where a character could spend, if they have the passive of studded leather, what if I made it to where you could spend movement rating as action points for an attack? Because that would reward people with stamina and vigor. That's something. Because you wouldn't be able to move, but you could double down. is that good? Are the other slots competitive? Is it too much? Because they move up. Well, that's the thing. They'd move up and they couldn't do it, right? So it would be if they didn't have to move. I don't think I do it. No. I think I do that with a medium armor or something. What if I did this? Brutal momentum. You may add your vigor character. Bleh. Character may add their prowess to their movement rating. Instead of stamina? Instead of stamina. Instead of stamina. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's good. That's good. I like that. Withstand action. Follow up. Follow up. Whenever the character would make an attack against an enemy outside of their turn, they may also use this withstand action if the character succeeds on a contested attribute check. I will do the character makes a contested attribute check against the target of the attack. The character uses their prowess, vigor, or competence. The enemy uses their tenacity, resilience, or vigor succeeds, they may move up to their movement rating towards the enemy, towards that enemy, whenever they would move this round or at the end of the round. Nah, I don't think I need this part. Because you'd really only use it on, well, no. I think that's fine. Yeah. That's good. Follow up, Slim Slam, Jam Jam. Very good. Gambison. Piercing protection, reduce the damage that piercing weapons do to this character by 1. Gotta be careful how many of those I make, but I do want some of them. Because the HPs and modifiers are going to be so small, even a -1 is going to be a big deal. Equal to their vigor, obviously, competence, and tenacity. I think I'm going to do. No, I don't think a Gorget would really anything. Passive. Critical. Protection. Attacks made against this character that have keen. That have the keen imbuement. Treat that attack as if the tier of that imbuement was 1 less. Protect your neck. Protect your neck. character may use this withstand action whenever they are critically hit. If they do, they make a contested attribute test against the attacker. The character uses their prowess, vigor, or prowess, vigor, stamina, maybe? Yeah. No. Are there any of these that haven't gotten any love? Let's see. Cunning. Let's do a cunning one. Vigor or cunning. The attacker uses their prowess or competence. If the character wins, they reduce critical hits damage by an amount equal to their spirit. Yeah. That's good. Protect your neck. Manika's got to be one. Passive. Steel sleeve. The character may use the block action with this piece of armor. Its rating is equal to the weapons wielded by the character. Armor rating is equal to the total weapon damage wielded by the... That might be too much, actually. Let's do by the total weapon damage wielded by the character in the opposite hand while wearing a manica. The character cannot wield a shield. Steel sleeve. That's gonna be so cool. Response. Whenever the character would use a defensive reaction. They may also use this withstand action. If they do, they may punch an enemy in range. This attack uses the I didn't make cestas yet. This attack uses the character's vigor for attack and damage. Actually, I want to make it good because you're basically doubling down on parry and stuff. Let's do this attack deals. This attack is strength based, deals 1d4 damage, 1d4 bludgeoning damage, and adds I think that's fine. It's the equivalent of a light weapon attack, but it can be added to other AOs. And if you've got reductions and preparations like the Paragon does, let me go double check the Gladiator stuff. Let's see. One hand specialist, dual wield. Yeah. And that'll work because they can use a Monica as a blocking implement. Battle boast, roar of the crowd. Yeah, I think that's fine. Just as it is. Pow! Punched in the face. Change shirt. One. Passive. Let's see, what's the passive of a change? Ugh. Withstand, huh? Let's see. Withstand. What should the chain shirt do? I'm not sure, man. Staggered. We'll call it, chained chest, I guess. Whenever the character would be would be staggered / numbed, would be afflicted with the staggered / numb affliction, character
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill. In Baggin. There always will be.
That's good. I was thinking about making it contested, but it's probably going to be attached to a contested roll, and that's just too many contested rolls. That's like too much rolling, right? I don't want the game's like turn length to be increased too much by, you know, excessive rolling. I want the gameplay loop to be crisp, or as crisp as I can get it. but I still want it to be good. I think that's good. I think that's a good start. Okay. It's medium armor time. Nooks and crannies. Reduces physical. Reduces damage taken from bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing weapons by 2 for each one of those damage types. This character does not have. This character does not have. Is that too complicated? Does not have a reduction on from equipment. Does not. For each one of those damage types, this that is not being reduced by a piece of equipment. Character may use Cam, just wanted to let you know I've talked with my bank and mom, and it's looking really good that I'm going to be able to get a 777 slot before the 56 days runs out. Just wanted to let you know that's why I haven't backed it yet. Are you sure, Foamy? Like, dude, if you gotta, like, please don't do anything that puts you in a bad spot, okay? Please don't do that. Make sure that you are capable of such a purchase before you do so. Like, you don't have to do that. But, of course, I'll be grateful if you do, but you don't have to. Just, please. I'd rather have you be okay than any of that other stuff. Character reduces the cost of withstand actions. Let's do it this way. The character, let's do this, has a withstand action. Character as a withstand action at the start of the round. The character may reduce the cost of their other withstand actions by an amount equal to their vigor or stamina. This only affects one of each withstand action taken this round. That's going to be a big combo setup, I think. I'm already going to be here the next 4 years. Family home paid off ages ago. I got lucky. I had good parents on that one. I'm pretty much set, and everything I make door dashing is extra until I find someone to start a family with. All right. If you think it's okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that you did not feel obligated to or anything like that. See, I think chainmail has a really interesting spot because I want it to be the versatile arm, like that you are meant to use in conjunction with the other pieces. And the versatile defense, I think, is going to be a major combo piece. Because you spend 2 action points at the start of the round to reduce the cost of each of your withstand action points, which you can combo with a bunch of stuff. I think that's pretty sick. I think it's really cool and really good, but only if you're going to spend a lot of augments on armor, right? So it's like, if you chose chainmail and you chose another one, then you'd only reduce that one by 2. So you'd have to get at least 3 augments in order to gain a sufficient amount of like a combo piece, right? But I think it's pretty good.
9 rings were gifted to the race of men, who above all else desire power.
Trying to figure out. So now I'm on scale melt. So this is when I'm gonna start upping the AR the movement reduction. Sorry, I'm acting silly over here. I'm trying to stimulate my brain juices. 2. Oh shit, here we go now. Alright, here we go. Monster Slayer. No. Dragonbane. This character has resistance to breath weapons, gaze. But no, not that. Breath weapons. And supernatural attacks that use a cone area of effect. No cones. Cones, get them out. Oh, let me go check the knights thing. Yeah, these are the same. We'll call it Drakebane. What should I make the withstand to be? whenever the character would be afflicted or attacked by a fiend, dragon, or undead, they may use this withstand action. If they do, they receive a bonus to their AC or contested attribute rolls equal to their tenacity, vigor, or resilience. To their AC against the next attack.
Go back, Steph!
Against
Going to Mordor
that attack
Of course you are.
or
Then I'm coming
the
with you.
contested attribute roll of the affliction equal to the. Okay, there we go. Syntax correct. Yeah, I know, Gaz. I don't want it to be like all of it, right? Yeah, because the hero might not be a knight, but it also could be. I'm such a fucking idiot, dude. Just over here doing a little dance like a moron. Oh, God.
I made a promise, Mr. Rowe. A promise.
Love your content, Arcadum. Thanks, Nanashi.
I'm glad you're with me.
Alright, do this. Passive. This should be like big piercing damage prevention. So we'll do superior piercing protection. if the character is wearing... If the character already has... piercing protection. Piercing protection. They increase this total reduction to 4. Yeah, I think just straight up resistance is good. It's a +5 to AC against specific damage types. I think that's good. I think it's fine. We're gonna do Soldier's Fortune. As whenever this character will be attacked by a piercing weapon, they may use a withstand action. If they do, they gain resistance to that attack. Easy, simple, straightforward. Make that one 1. Passive, we'll do bludgeoning protection. Probably the only armor that's going to have bludgeoning protection, to be honest, is going to be hide. Because it's skin.
It's done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
Maybe I'll give hide the extra attack. So that way a barbarian wearing hide armor... Yeah, I'll do it that way. The character may spend their movement rating on their attack rolls instead of action points. Is resistance only a +5 modifier in relevant rolls, or does it include the 50% damage taken? Normal resistance would be damage reduction. I only wanted Ring Meld to apply to the attack. I could see how that could be misread, though. actually, is there a problem with resistance being the whole thing? I don't think so, actually. No, I'll leave it like it is. Yeah. Resistance to the attack roll and to the damage taken. So, 5. Is that too powerful? I mean, it's only 2. Like, it's only... Okay, so, alright, let me walk through it. So, it should be good, though, right? Because it's like, you're spending that to withstand, to prevent damage, and it costs you 2. Yeah, I think it's good, actually. I think it's good enough for testing. We'll see how it plays. Because as always, it could be completely different. It could suck. You know, we'll see how it plays. But I'll leave it like it is. Especially since, like, it's going to cost you one of your augments too, right? Like one of your equipment augments, so it should be potent. Brigandine goes back up to 2. I have to remind myself what Brigandine looks like. Is that the duelist armor? It is the duelist armor. Okay. The bandit armor? Yeah. How am I going to represent bandit male? Maybe another movement-based armor type? No. Stealth. Okay, what am I going to do with stealth? I didn't think about that. Did I give limitations to stealth? Let me see. What did I do for concealed?
The lonely mountain.
I think I should do the increased. Increase it by 1. I think that's good. Camouflaged pattern. Whenever the character would be imbued with concealed increase tier by. I didn't give any of the light armors bonuses to stealth, but kind of, honestly, I don't feel like they need it. They're already going to be really good, right? And I think it would be a nice spot to give a medium armor that space instead, because I don't think it interferes with the fantasy, because what it does is it makes a more restrictive fantasy, which is like the bandit warrior being able to stealth, more accessible without taking away from the light armor hiding rogue, right? If anything, it helps balance the MAD gap that they'll have to have. Yeah. because it's MMR2, right? So you're gonna have to have vigor, so you're not like super slow. We could even do a let's do shifting. We'll do we'll do Bandit Shuffle. Whenever a character would be attacked while in cover, while in concealment, cover, if that cover also gives concealment, they may use this withstand action. If they do, they may attempt a stealth check after the attack is resolved. I think that's cool. Because if you really want to be somebody that goes in and out, but you still want to be a warrior, and you still want to wear heavy armor, then this is a way that you can do that without interfering with the rogue stuff on the Wanderer side. Yeah, I think that's good. Breastupleto. Breastupleto.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill.
And there always will be.
Baggin. There always will be.
I think Lamellar is the samurai, right? Yeah, it's the samurai armor. Okay.
Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins.
The actual thing that breastplate does. That'll work. What to do with the samurai armor? Well, samurai slash Arabian armor. I think it's good. That's a good one. Grace is charisma and dexterity. Dutiful movement may add their authority, I think. Yeah. I want there to be a movement option for clerics. Or cleric-esque wisdom types. Well, I guess if I wanted to make it the kind of the Gish authority or competence. should I do with this withstand action? I'm thinking like focus defense, where you gain like a +2 to AC against one target. So it's kind of like a duelist thing. We're gonna do focus defense. Whenever this character is attacked, they may use the withstand action. If they do, they gain a +2 to AC against that source for 1 round. This can only affect one enemy source. No, that's gonna get confusing. Against that enemy. Against that attacker. 1 round. This can only affect one enemy at a time. So the idea, it costs 2, enemy attacks you, spend 2, +2 AC, they keep attacking you against +2 AC, and then if another enemy attacks you, you can use withstand again to focus on that, but at that point you're just burning your AP and you don't have any counterattacks. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Big boy armor. Three. Do you have a keyword like maneuver to give the armor augments? Not right now. I want to test their combat function first, and then we'll see how to keyword them, because I'm probably going to change a lot of this. So I don't want to like marry into keywords yet, because I just want to test to see, like, this is what I'm worried about, to kind of give you an idea. Is that it's like, I'm worried that, I'm not really worried, I'm interested to see if in the array, like the box of reactive options, how competitive parry, block, and withstand will be. Because parry is just straight negation, right? Whereas parry is straight attack negation. Block is straight damage negation with various pieces. And then you have armor, which is going to be like this kind of interesting setup this way with how you can interact. And what I'm concerned with is that I want those to be competitive. I don't want it to be a point to where it's like armor doesn't get used, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah, because like, let's say you've got a regular old-fashioned warrior, shield, sword, armor, action points. Which does he use to defend himself? And it's like, I do want there to be reasons to choose different things. So maybe it's like, let's say he has scale mail on, right? So he has, or let's say he has, let's say for the sake of like, and this also helps me walk through it too. Let's say he has a breastplate on, right? So he has superior slashing protection. So an enemy attacking him with a slashing weapon, he might use his withstand against that attack. But if they're using a bludgeoning weapon, he might use his shield to block that. He might use block. If they have an axe, he might use parry. You see what I mean? Like, there's lots of different areas and things to think about and how they would interact. And that's what I'm hoping for. But I don't want... What I would like to avoid is that if a character has several viable defensive options available, that they'll actually cycle through them as needed, instead of only really focusing on one and only using that. You know, because that's really what I'm concerned with. But we'll see. Once again, I don't really know what people are going to do until they do it. And it'll be interesting to see the course of their choices. Are they all reactions? Well, they are, but in Prism, you use action points outside of your turn as reactions, so you have more than one. That's the idea, guys. But we'll see. What am I going to do with Splint Mail? Okay, I got something. Leverage. Whenever the character would use a withstand action, they are imbued with preparation, the tier of which, no, they reduce the APC of the next attack they make by an amount equal to the APC of the withstand action. So, you're wearing Splint Mail, you have a two-handed weapon, somebody comes up, you use a withstand action, let's say you use your Splint Mail one, yep, block that, 3 AP down, but then you gain enough to slam back. Like a balanced stance. Yeah. And the withstand action of Splint should be knock aside. Whenever a creature would attack the character, they may use this. They may use the withstand action. If they do, they make a contested attribute check against the attacker. Character uses their vigor. It's vigor.
9 rings were gifted to the race
Uses
of
their
men,
vigor.
who above all else desire power.
Go double check something. That's only for wearing, which is the MMR. Okay. So their vigor, the attacker uses their competence. We'll do prowess, competence, or stamina. If the character wins, they knock aside the attack, reducing its damage by half if it is a melee attack, or negating it if it is a ranged attack. In addition, if the attacker is in melee range, they are not prone. They are afflicted with tier. Let's go with 2 prone. Bah! Pow! You attack me, slap, knock on the ground, follow up, slam. I like that. That's worth 3 AP. No, well, I don't want it to be true resistance because that's a +5 to AC, which kind of goes against, the idea is that you're using your arm to knock it out of the way, or you're catching the blade in your armor, which doesn't stop the force, like it doesn't stop the hit, It stops the damage, and then like throwing them on the ground. So yes, it would be simpler to use resistance, but I don't think it's what I want to do. Also, it's against any sort of attack, right? Yeah. Exactly. It's meant to be like you're using your armor to physically stop an attack and throw them on the ground. Yeah. Nah, that's too weak. That's funny, but that's too weak. That's a good one.
Go back, Steph! Going to Mordor alone. Of course you are. Then I'm coming with you!
That's good. Just BAM! Just the shoulder charge, man. Get to use it as an attack, and you get to, you know, get your physical afflictions down and stuff. That's awesome. Alright, it's time for the big boy. El Guardian Eddie. Hey Arcadum, hope you're doing well. I've been trying to catch up on your previous games, currently watching Spirits Rise, but I'm way behind, so I haven't watched any of your live streams in a long time. Kinda just wanted to know how you're doing, current projects, any games, anything I should know about? Well, Eddie. Oh, there's a lot to talk about. If you're watching Spirits Rise, then that means you're probably still in Conflux. I did 2 years of content in a place called Corvanus, which you can go watch those games and stuff. They're very good. But what I'm working on first of all, I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. What I'm currently working on right now is my own tabletop game, which is something I've always wanted to do for a very long time. And so I'm finally taking the risk and taking the gamble of support that people will help see me through it to make my own tabletop system. It is called Prism. And I have a Kickstarter out for it right now as well. But yeah, that's the current events. There's more stuff than that, but that's the main thing I'm focused on is Prism right now. Oh shit, I have to make a command for the Kickstarter. Desk jam. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
MMR4 is 18 strength and Keycon and negate. Well, I mean, remember, like, you still have movement rating after that. It's just that you are going to be slower, most likely. And that's, you know, you're going to be even slower if you use a shield. Cool, nice to hear, man. Best of luck in your project. Love your content. Time to continue watching old games. Hopefully I can catch up one day. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching, Guardian. Pop by the stream more often, man. It's good to see you. I really hope you enjoy it. I really do. It means a lot that people are still watching stuff. And you know, you can also join the Discord and hang out with people that are also watching the old games. There's quite a few people that are trying to catch up, so maybe if you can find some like-minded people to watch it with. Or at least ask questions. So that way you don't have to wait till I'm online, you know? If that sort of thing interests you. This one's got to be a big one. I'm one of them, lol. Good to see you as well, Creamy McCrunch. I really like Twitch. One of the things I do like about Twitch is I can go back and, like, look at messages that people sent. Like, Guardian Eddie was watching in 2021 and 2022 and stuff. It's really cool being able to go back and, like, look at the past messages. I do like that that Twitch does that. $4K to see face pog. That's good. I hope you multi-stream on Kick as well. Well, I'm actually been thinking about it for a while of just spreading the streams out everywhere. Just everywhere. And saying fuck it. Like, I don't know if I ever messaged way back then, but I was watching. Well, according to Twitch, you messaged in 2023. You asked for the Discord. In 2021, you were talking to a guy named Black Magic Sam. I get it because it's funny. Glory Keck. You asked if there was a subreddit. And the very first message you ever sent was in 2020, 2 days after my birthday, and it said 4K to see face pog. Isn't that crazy? I can go back and just look at everybody's stuff. The Pinnacle of Steel. Oh, God. This has to be really good. Maybe I could do, like... Those were the days. COVID D&D was wild. Yeah, it was.
The lonely mountain.
I'm trying to form my own D&D game at the moment. I love that the Kickstarter offered all the lore and Atlas information. I'd love to DM a game in Verum one day. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, look, real talk. The amount of support that I've gotten for the Kickstarter already has been pretty crazy. Like, I am always surprised when people support the channel because I don't know, I have a low opinion of myself, I guess, but it's pretty crazy. Like, I remember when we first hit 15,000 subs back in the day, I was flabbergasted that happened. And now, you know, after I've lost a considerable amount of my fame and goodwill, people come out of the woodworks. Just like, we are 23% funded on what is a pretty expensive goal. You know, I thought about making the goal less, so just so that it would be funded, but that felt kind of dishonest, you know? I know that this is how much I'm going to need because I have to pay artists, musicians, I have to pay for printing, you know, if I want to make the physical stuff, and then there's taxes on top of that. So even with that substantial of a number, people are still like a support. I'm just really grateful, I guess is all I'm saying. So I'm really yeah, grateful. Are shields just going to be the standard buckler shield heavy tower, or will they have something like the armor layering? Well, there's going to be different shield designs, Shadow, but I want to see how armors do before I make a bunch of different shield designs, you know? Like, I want the Targe to be different than, like, the Pavasi, or Pavis, or whatever it's called, right? I want different shields to have different reasons you'd use them as well. But it's like, I want to see how people use Withstand, because I'm concerned that Withstand is in a very competitive slot with block and parry. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering. I supported everything except the real Big Daddy. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for everything. Big question I had: why did you stop using map tools and move to Foundry? You know, that's a fair question. I think it's a number of things. It's map tools is an archaic program that uses a lot of I think the real answer to that question is twofold. The first is that map tools has a lot of memories for me. Not all of them good. And after everything that happened, I had an opportunity to sit down and like recalibrate how I did things. And I was always looking at Foundry and like thinking about it, but then I thought about all the work I would have to do to convert everything, which is why I never changed a virtual tabletop. But then after what happened, and I had time to think, I just sat there and I was like, well, you know what? Let me just do the change. And so I did. And Foundry is more clunky than map tools in terms of execution. It has more support, which I think is good. And the production value is way higher on Foundry, and I think it's a worthy trade, which is why I stuck with it. So I hope that answers your question. That too, Shadow. It's actually easier to connect to Foundry than map tools. Pinnacle Steel has to be something really good. Okay. At the start of the character's round. No. whenever the character would be critically hit, they may attempt a contested attribute check versus the attacker. The character uses their vigor. Hobbits. The attacker uses their prowess, competence, or grace. No. Yes. No, yes, no. Yes, cunning. If the character wins, they are immune to that attack.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill. In Baggins.
I think that's good.
There always will be.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. All right, last bit. Let's move on to shields. Shields. Character that is proficient and wielding a shield may use the block
Welcome to Rivendell,
action.
Frodo Baggins.
The APC of that block action is noted under the shield being used. Shields prevent damage that is successfully blocked by an amount equal to their shield rating, which is noted on the shield I used. Shields have a passive that occurs whenever they would use the block action. Shields have a passive augment that is activated whenever character use the block action. I think that'll do for now, because I want to do more testing before I, like, try to expand these trees. Buckler, light shield, heavy shield, power shield. APC to block. Shield rating. Because, like, I want to do, like... I want to do... Similar to how weapons have the tree that you can get advanced weapons, but they keep the passive. I want to do that, but I want to stack on passives with the shield, because they're a passive defense. So it's kind of like a cross between weapon and armor, how armor have their own defensive actions. Weapons have their attack actions. They both have passives. A shield will be a series of passives stacked on each other because they all use the block action, right? And that's kind of the way I'm coming. And shield rating is rolled how weapon damage is rolled, so... One D4. Ooh, should I do base AC? What does base block do? Let me go double check. Okay, so that's there. Block augment. If this shield should, if the character should successfully block damage with this shield, the character reduces the cost of the next parry action by an amount equal to
Whom do you serve?
equal to prowess. The prowess, yeah. That's good. I like that. Because it doesn't block a lot of damage, but it sets up for you to parry with, you know, basically for free. So if you're fighting a lot of enemies, you can kind of switch between both to kind of help alleviate the amount of damage that you're taking. Yeah. Even to the point that you could parry for free, which I think is pretty nice. APC 1? No, 2. Shield rating of the light shield is the 8. Block augment. Whenever, if the character successfully block with block damage with this shield, character what should I do? Reposition maybe? Yeah. May move an amount equal to their movement rate. Response from your previous words. Always was really down about all that happened in the past. Hope things are a little bit better. Look forward to using Prism. Thanks, man. And thanks for the kind words. Because the way I figure it, people that use light shields would be characters that want to get out of damage, you know? Maybe a light shield wielding rogue, or maybe a light shield wielding mage, or even a cleric that doesn't want to be, you know, stuff like that. Or somebody who wants to stay on enemies or reposition. There's a lot of uses. Very squirrely, yeah. Shield rating. 1d12. Block augment. If the character would successfully block damage with this shield. Double check something. No, that's not what I needed. I needed class D10s.
Come between the
Is this block too expensive?
Nine rings were gifted to the race of men, who above all else desire power.
I think it is. I think it should be this, this, and then this is 3. Is that competitive, though? Because a great axe is a heavy weapon which costs 3. I think I'm gonna go with my gut and just run testing. I think this is the better way to do it. I could always come out with reducers anyway. Because enemy attacks. It costs them 2 action points to attack. See, base one-handed, so that means a light shield is equivalent to a long sword. Buckler is equivalent to a dagger, so it won't reduce it all the way. Plus, there's the modifier. Should I add a modifier to the amount of damage that shields reduce from the rating? I don't think so. Someone has to win, and I think the attacker should win. Yeah, we'll keep that for now. Because this allows you that if you're actually augmented your heavy shield, that you can follow up attack, so should still be fine. Shield rating 3d6. Block augment. If the character would successfully block damage with this shield, they for 1 round they are considered cover for themselves and allies that are adjacent to them. Literally a pillar. Just so that way you can hide behind them when the dragon breath comes, right? Classic cinematography. Hi, I'm new here. Hey there, Misho Prince. Alright, I think that's good. I think that's something for us to start with. We can test that out. I feel like that's competitive. I'm actually kind of worried about blocking now. But no, that shouldn't be. I have to keep remembering that initiative will change each round, and somebody isn't stuck always having to block. But that's also not a bad thing if you're eating up enemy actions to do it. And you could always just not block and just risk the damage, right? that's engaging and dynamic. Alright, I think this is good. We accomplished our goal, chat room. We finished armor and shields. Tomorrow is going to be spells. That's what all day tomorrow is going to be, is me working on basic spells. Whew. My brain is tired, but we got it done, didn't we? Thank you guys so much for the support. Sorry about the late start. I will see you guys tomorrow at stream time. Hugs and kisses, guys.